Well, here we go. It was loud last night in game one. More of the same this afternoon on a Sunday.
I was listening to Mike Bianco on the way home last night on the radio. He said it felt like it was a college football game. And it did. It's as loud as I've heard this stadium, and they have shown up again today.
The powder blue of Ole Miss as well. But the Sooners, backs against the wall, trying to force a decisive game 3 that would be tomorrow night. Skip Johnson, the Oklahoma head coach, didn't think that there were jitters early on, but he admitted that maybe the game sped up on his team. So we'll see how the Sooners start today, because Ole Miss went right to work early on yesterday. John Spikerman is the true freshman right fielder in the leadoff spot again for Oklahoma. 0 for 3 with 3 punch-outs and a walk yesterday, and Hunter Elliot powers ahead of him. 0-2 from Elliot. Breaking ball pulled into center field, a base hit. Spikerman singles with 2 strikes, and the leadoff man is on for Oklahoma.
Okay, so the Sooners didn't get their first base run until the 6th inning yesterday. Really never had a chance to put a whole lot of offensive pressure on Ole Miss, specifically on the base pass. 0-2, and not a good 0-2. A hanging breaking ball. Spikerman shoots out to center, and the leadoff man's on.
Do you think we'll see, Berkey, more aggressiveness from the Sooners the way they've been for most of this season?
Yeah, I think it's tough here with the left-hander on the mound, but getting the leadoff guy on to start the ball game certainly opens up the offense for the Sooners.
Here's the guy we told you about in the Oklahoma lineup, the 3rd-year sophomore shortstop Peyton Graham, named a first-team All-American on Friday by D1 Baseball. Guy was a Golden Spikes Award semifinalist, but the 3 strikeouts yesterday, all 3 of them on breaking balls. Swings through the change.
Yeah, tough day to be a right-handed hitter yesterday if you were in the Sooners dugout. There was some nasty stuff being thrown at you by the Rebels. Some power fastballs and swing and miss breaking balls. Something tells me the Sooners are pretty happy to see a lefty on the mound today.
This is how the hitting streak ended for Graham. Takes outside, 2-1. 3
in a row, 3 changeups to Graham right here. 1 off the plate, 1 he swung through, then that 1 off the plate again. I understand the left-handers out there. I understand Hayden Dunhurst is a good catch and throw guy behind home plate, but Oklahoma's not going to sit back and wait. That's not who they are offensively, especially when they have runners on early.
2-1. And a fastball at 89 by Graham.
You're going to see that from Elliot. You know, the fastball has some mystery to it, right? The velo doesn't pop, but he gets swings and misses at his fastball. That was 89 right past Graham, of course, set up by the changeups early in the count.
They love the demeanor, the toughness, the grit from the freshman lefty. A long hold and his 2-2. Strike 3 calls. With a fastball to fan Graham.
You said it just a minute ago, man. That fastball plays up, and you go change up, change up, change up. So Peyton Graham understands what the book is on Hunter Elliott. The change up is his best off-speed pitch. He throws a fastball right by him for strike 2 and locks him up with a glove side fastball, strike 3.
Well, that was special right there. You talk about the grit of Hunter Elliott. How about shoving it in there on Peyton Graham to get your first out?
Guy who was very good Monday against Arkansas gets the ball here in game 2. 1 away, 1 on. It brings up the 3-hole hitter for the Sooners, the first baseman Blake Robertson, the Big 12 newcomer of the year from Edmond, Oklahoma. This guy is tied for the national lead in walks with 68 of them. And he takes a slider for strike 1. You heard some of the comments from Robertson earlier here that he had post game. He said, I'm glad it happened. Game 1, the result. We're going to learn from our lesson. We got to slow everything down. 3-game series for a reason. A 1. Another slider.
The other thing it kind of felt like last night for Oklahoma, I mean, they haven't played very much, right? Last night was just their 4th game. They've been here, almost a couple weeks. And so it definitely felt like Ole Miss took some momentum into the ballgame. Of course, the numbers from a crowd standpoint are definitely on their side. And they had the Sooners on their heels early in that one and just never felt like Oklahoma recovered.
Here comes the 1-1 from Elliot. And this is inside. Soft stuff on all 3.
The splits on Elliot really aren't splits. They're identical. Right-handers hitting 206 this year. Left-handers hitting 206 against him. Generally, what that's going to tell you is fastball plays well, and both off-speed pitches are effective.
2-1. There's a fastball elevated to get the swing and miss.
So twice in fastball counts against the 2 and 3-0 hitters of Oklahoma. He's thrown an 89 and a 90-mile-an-hour fastball right past him.
See what he goes to on 2-2 to Blake Robertson. Elliot deals towards second. Chatinier flips the turn in time 2. That is nifty glove work from Chatinier to Jacob Gonzalez.
You don't get this far without playing spectacular defense, and the Rebels have certainly done a little glove fit from the second baseman, and Gonzalez finishes it off with a bullet. 3 up, 3 down for the Rebels.
The first, and now Ole Miss bats for the first time here in game 2. We get you their batting order brought to you by Capital One after they put up 16 hits and 10 runs last night.
Yeah, we got Kemp Alderman highlighted because you see that note on the bottom. He is compressing the baseball at a world-class level. Last night he hit a ball 113 off the center field wall, and he can hit it as hard as anybody here, KP.
Go a long ways. They're going to face a good one, though. We talk about the right-hander, Cade Horton. He's a redshirt freshman who is draft eligible this year. 5-2 with a 524. Who cares about the 524? It's the last month where Cade Horton has turned into a different arm. Power fastball, power breaking ball, a 2.66 ERA since he went to that power slider. He was very good in his first start here at the College World Series. Career high 11 strikeouts against Notre Dame.
Redshirt freshman from Norman ready to face Justin Bench and the Rebels here in the home half of the first. First pitch swing. Behind the third base bag, that is Peyton Graham, who roams out. 1 pitch, 1 out for Cade Horton.
Hey, 96. Happy Sunday. We're going to start with that one right there. Super athletic kid that has had plenty of at-bats this year. But his professional future is going to be standing 60 feet away from home plate.
We asked Cade Horton about the draft this week. He said, I got a lot of options. And he does, as a draft eligible sophomore who is a redshirt freshman because he's coming off the Tommy John. He said it'll depend on the money. Everything has to be right. And he faces Jacob Gonzalez, the Ole Miss shortstop. Could be a very high pick as well next year.
Oh.
We talk splits with Elliot to where they're identical. They are not with Horton. Left-handers hitting 372 against him this year. Righties hitting 216. There are 5 lefties in this Ole Miss lineup. There's your slider.
88 to the back foot. And look at Horton. He gets the baseball. He is ready to go.
Waste time, man. Get it and go.
Here's his 1-2. Cut on and miss. Hung on to by Crooks. Looked like a 90-mile-an-hour slider.
Because that's what it was. That's KP. That's as tight a breaking ball as you will see. Gonzalez obviously thought that was the heater and swung almost under and out in front of it because he just didn't realize that was a breaking ball until he had already missed it.
Well, a couple of quick ones for Cade Horton on 5 pitches. And now the base is empty for Tim Elko. It's a breaking ball for strike 1. Elko, the 3-time captain, the only such player in Ole Miss program history from Lutz, Florida. Had some kind of night last night in game 1. 4 for 5 with a solo home run. He was in the dugout watching the back-to-back Tom Amansky type of home runs there. He told Chris Budden postgame in one word: insanity. Horton's 1-1. Bounced in.
You know, they have a tradition in Oxford of their students throw beverages up in the air after home runs are hit at home games. And, well, that could be multiple types.
Generally beer.
And apparently they were doing that last night after the back-to-back-to-back. And I don't think some of the locals were ready for it.
Now, here's the beauty. I saw something on Twitter last night. Is you know it is a dedicated Ole Miss fan base if they're throwing $12 beers into the air instead of the Natty Lights that they're rolling in themselves at home. Like that's a different level of commitment. And it was apparent last night. The commitment was still there.
I mean, even a Lenny's summer shandy there. Not safe. 2-2. And Horton strikes out 2 in a 1-2-3 bottom of the first here in Omaha. Men's College World Series Finals, Oklahoma here. Couple of national championships already in their past, including in 51 and 94. Ole Miss, KB told you, from last 4 in to the first trip to the College World Series Finals. They have never won in program history, and as we saw with both these arms, we got some draft talent as well on display.
Cade Horton, every pitch that he throws is making money. It started a few weeks ago. It picked up against Notre Dame, and the early returns tonight are it's not going to stop.
He was dazzling over 10 pitches there in the bottom of the first, and now Hunter Elliot goes back to work in a scoreless second. Cleanup man Tanner Treadaway, the center fielder, 5th-year senior who has swung a hot bat as well, but yesterday 0 for 3. His first hitless game in nearly 6 weeks. Did have the bases loaded walk in the 6th inning. That cut the deficit to 4-2. And that was as close as Oklahoma got.
You talk about the back-to-back-to-back last night. Elko hits a home run. The McCants home run changed the game immediately because it's a 2-run game with 2 outs. If they get him there, you got an OU offense is starting to feel a little bit different about itself, and then Ole Miss just ran away and hid. And he didn't start the game.
Right.
I mean, you felt like he would today against the right-hander, but he hits a home run last night, changes the course of game 1, and now finds himself in the starting lineup today.
Boy, Mason Nichols was huge as well.
Yes.
True freshman in relief for the Rebels. 2-2 misses just in with a fastball. The full count on Treadaway. Mason Nichols admitted postgame he did have a lot of butterflies.
It didn't look like it. I mean, he looked like that. He was out there smiling in every situation.
He would run off the mound too. 3-2 on a line to right, and Calvin Harris is there for the first out. You guys talked about it last night. There is good history, at least on the Oklahoma side of things. Each of the last 3 national champions here at the College World Series did lose game 1.
And how about Oklahoma has only lost 1 time all year to the same opponent on back-to-back days, right? So they've been pretty good at bouncing back in series.
They go first pitch swinging with Jimmy Crooks, the talented catcher. But right at Jacob Gonzalez, and a couple of quick ones for Hunter Elliot.
We like those first pitch ground balls. That's if you're a pitcher, that's the way you draw it up. A couple of quick ones here. And both these pitchers have been very efficient to this point.
30 combined pitches for the 2 of them to get 8 outs. And the bases are empty for the freshman third baseman, a switch hitter, Wallace Clark. from Tulsa on the Big 12 all-freshman team. He had a walk, part of an 0 for 3 last night. One of the unheralded guys for the Sooners, according to head coach Skip Johnson.
We're not seeing the fastball at all, because there hasn't been one comfortable swing. The only hit for Oklahoma was on a hanging breaking ball. They've seen the fastball. And again, that was 89. He is way late.
Elliot's 0-2. Fastball again, up and in.
There's something very unique to the arm swing of Hunter Elliott. You watch the arm when he separates from the glove. It kind of twirls behind him, and then it's like the ball just appears on the hitter. I don't think they get a very low. Watch the arm get behind him.
A couple of Ks in the first 2 innings. That's a 1-2-3 for the rookie.
Welcome back to Omaha. No score, bottom of the second. Skip Johnson, longtime coach and former pitching coach for Augie Garrido at Texas, and was a mentor by a guy by the name of Clayton Kershaw, the Dodgers ace, 3-time Cy Young Award winner. When he was a senior at high school, was looking for someone to mentor him, and a former advisor said, hey, how about you go down to Navarro College? There's a guy by the name of Skip Johnson. So he would drive down there every Tuesday in high school. Ended up being the 13th overall pick that year. The two have kept in contact, and when he was on a rehab assignment in Oklahoma City, goes and visits Skip. And how about that? You're sitting around, Norman, part of the team, and in comes Clayton Kershaw for a little bit of advice.
Yeah, that's not bad, Chris. And it sounds like, from talking to Skip, there are 12 tenets of pitching that he has, but his stories are so good we can't make it through all 12.
We haven't made it. We made it through a few.
Yeah.
And then we'll kind of take a detour and we'll go somewhere else and we'll get back to a few more after that.
Rattlesnakes, and then we're.
He's a beautiful man. It is fun to talk baseball with that man.
Kevin Graham leads off for Ole Miss here in the bottom of the second with no score in game 2 after Ole Miss took game 1 last night in this College World Series finals. Graham started the scoring yesterday, sliced a single the opposite way, part of a 1 for 5 for a guy who has really helped key the strong finish to the season for Ole Miss. That's down from Cade Horton, 2-2. Two on the way. Roll toward first, off the glove of Robertson and past Nicholas into short right. Couple of ricochets there, and Kevin Graham is on to start the second.
Yeah, it feels like if the Rebs are going to be able to mount some offense against Horton, it's going to have to be the left-handers. Robertson, maybe not the best jump there, a little late on his crossover, and then he redirects the ball past Nicholas. Kevin Graham stays red hot. Just a consistent ball striker, does a fantastic job of spraying the ball to both sides of the field and hanging in there off a really good breaking ball.
The speedy Kevin Graham. Last night stole his first base of the year. We'll see if Ole Miss is aggressive on the base pass again.
As Kemp Alderman climbs in, DH in the 5 spot. It's like during the NBA draft, you hear a lot about wingspan for Kemp Alderman. It's compressed the baseball.
Ooh, yes.
I like it, Berkey.
He hits a very heavy ball. This is a ball that can go. He doesn't really need to go over the wall. I feel like he could hit one through it. He hits it with such exit velo. He put one of those bullets off the center field wall last night. It was not a homer, but it make you lose your breath a little bit when it left the bat.
And 113 on that double to center. And he was what, telling you about his struggles swinging a golf club, though? He can't do the same with golf?
I just kind of asked him. I said, man, you hit a ball, because they told us he had hit a ball 117 miles an hour. That's his top. I said, how far can you hit a golf ball? He said, well, the problem is I hit it with so much slice spin, by the time it lands, it's back at my feet. I thought that was a pretty good line.
The 1-1. Slider in the dirt.
And it wasn't a shock to hear that he struggles with the touch. He told me, hey, I need to work on my chipping and putting. I said, no, you don't. Just go to Top Golf.
You're doing fine right now.
6'3", 265 pounds. Sophomore from Decatur, Mississippi. Small town about 3 hours from Oxford. You said it's going to be tough for righties against Horton. Swing and a miss through the slider.
I think it's going to come down to one of those, KP. Like you're going to have to catch a hanger, right, and identify it early enough. At some point in the ball game, if a righty's going to do damage off Horton, it feels like.
He was really close right there. I mean, there are swings sometimes that show you that somebody's sitting on something. I'd go back to the fastball right here after seeing that last swing.
Horton's 2-2. Fastball indeed at 97. To blow away Alderman. Third K for Horton. Hey, game 6 of the Stanley Cup final is tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern on ABC. The Lightning came back to win game 5 3-2, forced another game in their quest for a third straight Stanley Cup. Game 6, Avalanche and Lightning tonight, 8 Eastern on ABC and ESPN+. LSU is always represented in Omaha.
They're always somewhere here.
Very often behind home plate in the first row. There's another fastball. It's strike one to start out to Calvin Harris, who is rivaling the DJ for popularity these days with the run he's been on in the postseason. Sophomore from Peosta, Iowa, not too far from here, has had a big postseason. You guys listen to a lot of Calvin Harris?
I didn't know that there was anybody other than this guy named Calvin Harris, so that should answer your question.
That one went.
Yeah. Did you notice like how quick we were both ready to jump in on that one? That one you are flying solo on, Monaco.
How about it, kid? One out, one on, bottom of the second. And Horton's 0-2. 96 and a fourth strikeout for Cade Horton, coming off 11 at his first start here.
He's kind of simplifying here. You get back and let it go on 2 strike counts. Elevate the fastball. He did it to Alderman at 97. Now he does it to Calvin Harris at 96. Those are guys last night. Harris hit a ball a mile last night into right center field, and Kemp Alderman hit one 108 off the left center field wall. Both of them go down swinging on a fastball here.
Brings up Peyton Chatinier, the junior second baseman who had 3 hits yesterday. Each of his last 3 ABs. Takes a breaking ball for ball 1. So Horton's got the slider and the curve. He told us this weekend that it was probably 2-to-1 slider to curveball in that start against Notre Dame.
Shape when they're on is not that different. It's velocity that's different. The curveball be 81, 82. That slider's been up as high as 90.
Tight spin as well, which you can pick up here on UmpCam. Full commentary and coverage along with every pitch from this UmpCam. Go to ESPNU or log on to ESPN+. Coming right to your screen.
So to me, if I was a righty against Cade Horton, the fastball's 97 and the slider's 90. Okay, so the curveball, like he dumped one in right there. I would eliminate the curveball. I wouldn't even think about it. And I would just get ready for 97 and hope that if he hangs a slider, I'm going to see it soon enough to be able to keep the bat in the zone. But if you're looking breaking ball, like he is going to blow you up on that heater. I think you have to get ready for number 1.
2-1. And so you got to live with swings like that.
I think you got to live with swings like that. Now you go 2 strikes, you might spread out, get as deep as you can in the box, and maybe let it travel a foot longer. But like early in the count, what you can't do is be so consumed with missing the slider that you don't get your best swing off on the heater. I thought that was aggressive hack right there. Now you go into 2-strike mode and see how he's spread out right here.
With 2 outs, the 2-2. And a fastball cut on and miss. 97 with some cut. And Horton punches out 3 in the bottom of the second. Top 3 on the way here in Omaha.
Good way to spend your birthday.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
How about it?
Never forget that one.
Chris Burke, Kyle Peterson, Chris Budden, our entire ESPN crew behind the scenes. Mike Monaco with you as Hunter Elliott goes back to work here in game 2 with strike 1 to the 7-hitter and second baseman, the true freshman for Oklahoma, Jackson Nicholas. He was the first base runner to reach yesterday a leadoff single in the bottom of the 6th on the first pitch that he saw from Jack Doherty. Elliot's 0-2. There's a slider sprayed foul. We were talking with Hunter Elliott about his slider. He said right before the Super Regional, 3 days before, he changed the grip on it. Hasn't told Mike Bianco. Hasn't even told his catcher. We think we were the first to find out about it.
Wow.
And he feels better with it now. He said it's going to be a big focus for him this summer because the changeup's been really good.
Yep.
It gets an elite amount of swing and miss. And he knows he needs the slider to improve as well going forward.
Well, his ERA in the NCAA tournament is below 1. So he doesn't need to tell anybody anything at this point. It's working out fine. And there it is again, 89 miles an hour. And it just shows you again, it's not as simple as velocity. There's a variety of different things. So for Hunter Elliott, slow him down and then lock him up. So the breakable slows the hitter down and the fastball comes back and plays up. To Berkey's point, they're just not seeing the fastball well. The hitter reaction to it, it's not like they're just missing it, just swinging underneath of it. The swing throughs are pretty consistent. This is the NCAA tournament coming into this one. 22 strikeouts, 7 walks, a sub-1 ERA, and the Rebs have won his last 6 starts. You don't have to tell anybody what you're doing. You just keep doing what you're doing. It's working fine.
He's got 7 swings and misses already. Cade Horton has 8. This is the good stuff.
Yes, it is.
From these two.
1-on-1. We like these.
Diego Muniz is the batter, the DH in the 8th spot, who gets the start. Hasn't played a whole lot recently, but a right-hand hitter against the lefty starter. He's in there for Sebastian Orduño, who had stepped into the starting DH spot because Brett Squires in game 1 here for Oklahoma. Game 1 in Omaha in the College World Series broke his hand, and he's been out. Elliott's 2-1, sails high, 3-1. Now this is a guy in Muniz who is in his 4th year with OU. He has started a lot in his career. This is career start number 103. Full count. His first at bat here in Omaha. Didn't play in the Super Regional either in Blacksburg, Virginia. Elliott deals and strikes out Muniz. 3 Ks in a row for Hunter Elliott. And for more on him, we go down to Chris.
Well, Ole Miss fans may get a blast from the past when they see him on the mound. How about they call him Little Dougie? Doug Nikhazy, same long hair, same number. I think identical. Hasn't cut the hair since 16.
Whoa. Why would you at this point?
Yeah, and that's a great comp. Now, you know, I would say the look and the results almost identical. The arsenal a little different. Nikhazy was kind of breaking ball above changeup, and Elliott's been a little bit of the opposite, but they seem to be cut from the same cloth from a competitive standpoint. Like they might look kind of friendly if you're seeing them at media day, but you get them out there on the bump, and boy, Mike Bianco, he's got a knack for developing left-handed starting pitching, that's for sure.
2-1 the count on the 9-hitter for Oklahoma, Kendall Pettis. Some good moss as well. 2-1 pitch. And Pettis fouls it off. 2-2. Elliot told us he knew from day 1 he wanted to go to Ole Miss. Parents, diehard fans that graduated from Ole Miss as well. Full count. pitch to Pettis, and he takes low. He got on board a couple of times late in the game yesterday, and he works a 2-out walk here, second base runner against Elliot this afternoon.
It's a good at B. It's a real good at B, and you can see Kendall Pettis just staring at that 3-2 changeup, watching it fall away. He had just seen what he did to Muniz when he got to a 3-2 count. 3-1 fastball call for a strike. 3-2 got him to chase it. Changeup out of the zone, and Pettis takes it, standing on first base with 2 outs here. 22 of 30 on the year in stolen bases for Kendall Pettis.
Now back to the top for John Spikerman, who singled off Elliot. Takes strike 1. Berkey as a base runner. Pettis aboard. KP mentioned steals. What do you look for in a lefty?
Well, you're looking at that head position, right? A lot of lefties tip their move with their head, and then you're also looking at that lead leg. So if the knee crosses, he can pick. But if the foot crosses, which that was really close. So if the lead foot crosses the back leg, the rule says you got to go home. If the lead knee passes the back leg, you can still pick, right? So that's one of the things you're looking at for the guys that have a bigger leg lift. But some of the guys fall into a real steady pattern with their head positioning too. That was the double move. That's the A+ move. That's the old Andy Pettit move there, where he kind of gives you a look like he's not going to pick, and then all of a sudden he snaps it back. So watch the head here, looking at you, go home and then bring it back, and the direction is towards you, right? You got to stay within a 45-degree angle of the first base bag. If you get too much towards home plate, you have to go home. But the bottom line is, in today's world, you got a lot of film, right? And you've got a lot of tendencies that you should come into the game with very prepared, way more so than when we were playing when you get to first base.
The 1-1. That's a strike with the fastball 1-2 on Spikerman.
Right there, the lead foot got past the back leg, so that's the one you're looking for. If you see that, you go.
He has to go home.
And if he picks, you're screaming balk. Your first base coach should be screaming balk.
2 outs. Pickoff attempt toward Pettis. It's an Oklahoma offense. 4th in the country in stolen bags, 145 of them. The most in program history since 1989. And they've got him. Elko throws to second. Gonzalez the tag, and they get Kendall Pettis. The craftiness from the lefty, Hunter Elliot, wipes away Kendall Pettis.
Mike Bianco, one of the best in the country at controlling the run game. They guess, and they guess right. Boy, he is right on the edge with that lead leg. And Tim Elko, who used to play third base, an easy catch and throw. The Rebels get off the field.
Game 2 in the best of 3 after a win for Ole Miss yesterday, 10-3. And we are scoreless into the bottom of the 3rd. Cade Horton back to work. He deals to Hayden Dunhurst. He trickles it to Blake Robertson, with Horton covering on 1 pitch, 1 out for Horton. KP, how good is the stuff that we've seen this week from Cade Horton?
I was trying to pull slot values just to see what it is this year. I mean, Kylie would know better than us, but coming into this College World Series, I think the discussions around Horton have been late first round, maybe sandwich, maybe early second. Kyla McDaniel's our draft expert, and every time this kid has gone out over the last month, he's gone up, and he's gone up further, and then he's gone up further. I don't know how you let this arm get through the first round. I can tell you that. And I'm not exaggerating when you say that Cade Horton over the last 3 weeks has probably made $2 to $3 million.
This is before and since the Big 12 tournament, when he unveiled that slider, he told us, for the first time.
And so you match a new pitch, but stronger and stronger and stronger post Tommy John, right? The velo comes back, the feel, the command, all the little things that you got to get used to back toeing the rubber every week. And in a year where the draft is light on college pitching, like KP said, he is skyrocketing up boards.
TJ McCants serves one to deep center, but Tanner Treadaway is there, and there's 2 down for Horton.
All right, so 5 strikeouts today for Cade Horton. All have been swinging. Fastball's been up to 97. This is when he elevated early. Sped up Alderman. And then the breaking ball. The pitch to Gonzalez was hittable. The other ones, that one was his best. He's got the A stuff. Gentlemen, he's throwing 1 changeup, I think. Everything else has been curveball, slider, and the off speed, and the fastball that's been swing and miss. He even cut one to shotting it in. I don't think he tried to cut it. It looked like it was the accidental. The accidental 97-mile-an-hour cut is a nice one just to throw out there every once in a while.
Well, Justin Bench pops this one up foul. Yeah, it was a pitch that your catcher Jimmy Crooks is saying, dude, protect my labrum also.
It's not a comfortable one to catch.
And again, 0-2 for Cade Horton here with 2 outs in the last of the 3rd. Fouled back by Bench, who popped the short his first time.
Ole Miss has missed a few, like that one right there. That's a mistake. Now it's an 0-2 count, so you're not feeling real hitterish right there, right? You're in protect mode. But you know, if the Rebels are going to produce anything versus Horton, they're going to have to start taking advantage of a few of those breaking balls that have been left in the middle of the plate.
Like that, but Bench into playable left field. And Kendall Pettis, and it's another 1-2-3 for Cade Horton. 6 in a row set down at FanFest here in Omaha outside the Chuck Charles Schwab Field. Very temperate today. 75 degrees at first pitch. The average first pitch temperature to this point had been 88. Felt like a lot more than that over the last week plus.
Yeah, this works.
We got a good one going here in game 2 as we go to the 4th, and Hunter Elliott goes back to work again against John Spikerman, who was at the plate when Kendall Pettis got picked off. The buzzword with Spikerman is dynamic. We have heard that a lot from the coaching staff this week. A guy who missed the end of his senior year of high school because he broke his arm hustling on a play at the plate, and then had back issues that started in the fall here of his freshman season. But healthy down the stretch. He rolls it to Peyton Chatinier. One away for Hunter Elliott in the 4th.
Have you ever had cotton candy?
I have.
Have you really?
Yes.
I thought the answer would be no. I didn't.
My daughter Sydney loves cotton candy, and I've stolen a bite or two here or there.
And then a 5-mile run?
No, you guys got me all wrong. I'm totally misunderstood up here.
Yeah.
We put bacon on our salad and pepperoni too in the catering tent. Peyton Graham, the batter, 1 out, no one on. Takes outside 2-0. Graham struck out looking his first out. Really good steaks, really good golf this week out here in Omaha. Fouled back. Oak Hills was a lot of fun. Happy Hollow. Some good golf courses.
You guys made the rounds.
Not well, but did
right.
swing it. Shadow Ridge, another good one.
Fantastic.
2-1. Is yanked to left, hooking away from Graham, but he runs it down. 2 away.
The first hard hit ball.
Yep. Well,
even
first
the
hard hit fastball.
What was hit hard beside?
Spikerman hit a line drive in the right center on a breaking ball.
On an 0-2 breaking ball, but I mean it was well in front of the center fielder. That ball's got a little backspin. That's got a chance to go out today.
And we'll see, right? Second time through, we'll see if these Oklahoma hitters start to pick up that release point and time that fastball a little bit better. But that was certainly a good start. Always nice. We talked about it a little bit last night. As in a dugout, it's always nice to see your star lace a line drive. Now, you'd rather go into the corner for a double, but you know that'll give the rest of the crew some confidence.
At 109, you saw off the bat of Peyton Graham. And now Blake Robertson, who rolled into the 4-6-3 in the first. He's promptly behind 0-2. Connor Elliot deals. Just off the edge with a slider. One-two pitch. Slider again and another foul. The freshman from Tupelo, Mississippi, deals another 1-2. And that's low with a fastball. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Blake Robertson. The wind in the 2-2. Picked up foul by Hayden Dunhurst.
But that is twice. He has just barely got the cap of the bat on that. It seems like he's changing the shape to the lefties a little bit, right? Yeah. Maybe a little bit slower, maybe a little more horizontal, kind of sweeping the breaking ball a little bit more.
He'll drop the angle a little bit too. Arm angle will come down a little bit more, so it's easier for him to give him that horizontal. And once a little bit more top to bottom break if he throws it to righties.
2-2 is low and a full count again, worked by a Sooner hitter. On the 8th pitch of the plate appearance. Fastball, strike 3 called. 5th K for Hunter Elliot going toe-to-toe with Cade Horton.
Second to third round prospect out of Norman High School in 2020. He missed his draft spring due to the pandemic and missed his freshman year at Oklahoma due to Tommy John surgery. He sits in the mid-90s, hitting 98 with bat missing shape to his fastball and 2+ breaking balls. He had third round buzz about a month ago and has looked like a first rounder in Omaha, with projections now that he goes somewhere from the late first to early second round.
He's not getting out of the first round. He's not getting out of the first round. If you've watched him the last few weeks, and I mean, we've watched guys the whole year. Some of the best arms this year have gone down with Tommy John. Connor Prelip was expected to be one of the, if not the top college arm. He hadn't thrown a pitch this year. Some of that by his own desire. But the reality is college pitching is down this year compared to previous draft years. And when you see this, it shoots right to the top of the list.
He is dealing as we go into the bottom of the 4th here in Game 2 of the College World Series Finals. 2, 3, and 4 for Ole Miss against Horton, starting with Jacob Gonzalez, who lines one into right field, a base hit. That is hard hit and a leadoff knock, turning around 96 for Gonzalez.
Well, we talked about the left-handers were going to have to do the heavy lifting. How about being on time for a 4-seamer? Fastball, middle, and Jacob Gonzalez, who has been stuck in a pretty heavy slump, with a beautiful move to the back of the baseball. And here comes the captain with the leadoff man on here in the 4th.
Gonzalez had been 0 for his last 13, and now he's on, indeed, in front of the captain, Tim Elko. Whenever Tim Elko does something big like he did last night, it sets off the tweets on Ole Miss Twitter about building the statue back in Oxford. He's got some proud parents who have been with him throughout the season, as Chris Budden told you last night. Horton's 0-1.
You're not going to see a fastball. He gets ahead of him with a slider in this one. I don't think he's going to see a fastball. It could be a curveball, it could be a slider, but I don't think you throw Elko a fastball. They tried to sneak one by him last night. He hit it in the bullpen in right field. Gotta show me he can hit the spinner before he's going to see anything straight.
0-2. Backup slider.
It just feels like that's the one. If the righties are going to get him, it's that one. Now that one backed up. It didn't stay in the middle, but it's definitely something to watch here this second time through. If he makes that mistake in the middle of the plate with one of those breaking balls, especially to Elko, you can see a 2-spot up there really quick.
Another 0-2.
In the box.
Elko fouls it off himself.
That was one he could have done some damage with. That was a little leaky. Inner third in a spot that plays into that swing path. Now maybe you do elevate. He's throwing it 4 sliders in a row, 4 breaking pitches in a row. You got to change eye level once, I think, at this point. We didn't swing and miss at the last 2, which weren't great location from a slider standpoint.
Horton working out of the stretch for the 2nd time this afternoon. Check on Jacob Gonzalez. It's been 11 straight strikes from Cade Horton. Oh, 2 again. Backs up and misses.
He's not gotten it to the glove side now 3 times in a row, right? He's trying to get that thing away from Elko, and that's 3 in a row that he's missed to the arm side. I think at some point, KP, he's going to that 4-seamer up and out of the zone, see if he can't get a chase.
The 1-2 home. There it was. Would you want even higher there, 0-2, or is that fine?
Preferably, I'd say you could go on maybe a ball higher, but a pretty good pitch right there.
You're picking. You're really picking.
What's a preferred?
That was pretty good.
Trying to be generous to me.
Maybe like a half ball higher.
Just throw where you want it, KP. It's not that hard, right?
On a 1-2, should say. Horton deals. Now it's foul.
Pretty good battle going on right here. We're yet to see the A+ breaking ball from Horton. Elko keeps wasting these backup breaking balls.
The one that I wouldn't want to throw him is a fastball out away from him. If you're gonna go hard, I want to crowd him with that fastball. He's shown the ability to hit the ball out of the ballpark anywhere he wants to.
6 out of 7 you see have been sliders. 1-2. Sails high. 2-2 on Tim Elko.
He's kind of run it away from the breaking ball the last few times too. And so it's that front side where you're trying to make it break instead of allowing your body to do it. This fan base, it's nothing. And they're going to stand up and go nuts.
Chris Button said to Mike Bianco after the game, is there anyone left in Oxford at this point?
They know their baseball, and they can recognize a great at-bat when they see one, and that has certainly been this right here. Let's see if Elko can pay it off or if Horton makes an adjustment after a meeting from Crooks.
Star on star here in the 4th with no score at game 2. Throw over in the direction of Gonzalez. And on the 9th pitch, on the ground, foul. Five foul balls with 2 strikes from Tim Elko. Pitch number 10 is fouled away again by Elko.
He's done an amazing job of wasting the fastballs, right? Can he take advantage of one of those breakers?
The 11th pitch is strike 3 called. Horton wins the battle against Elko, and there is one away.
And This is not where you're trying to throw it, but it has become one of the more effective breaking pitches in baseball because hitters, A, they're not used to it, B, they're never going to pull the trigger. I mean, that's if it's not on the black, it's as close as you can get to the black. And we're starting to hear of people that are intentionally trying to throw that backup slider that stays on the inside part of the plate to a right-hander because you get the reaction you got right there from Elko. They never swing. Now that pitch has looked a little bit different in this inning than it did earlier. And that was similar with Horton's first time out. Like the first 3 innings was big league stuff right away. Then the breaker started having a little bit more loop. Then you could see a difference in the fastball in the 5th and 6th. It's part of that process of coming back from injury. But you'll see the stuff start to tick down a little bit now.
Now another lefty hitter. Left-handed bats have the 2 hits for Ole Miss this afternoon against Horton. And Graham had the pull side single. And now it's 1-1, his second time against Horton. Kevin Graham, the senior from O'Fallon, Missouri. Missed time with a fracture in his wrist, after which he had surgery over the course of this season. 1-1. Pulled and hooked foul. 1-2.
He's not been able to get the breaking ball to his glove side. Like Kevin Graham is locked in. It's a little more comfortable bat for the lefties. We talked about the splits are way in favor of the left-handed hitters. He keeps throwing that spinner up there to Kevin Graham, and something tells me he's going to make him pay.
Well, and here's the thing. I mean, we talk about him when he gets into professional baseball. If he's going to be a starter when he gets into pro ball, he's going to have something that hit him. He's going to have
Kevin Graham.
Something off speed that moves away from the left hand. Because those splits are just too varied, and you see Graham is crawling all on top of the plate right now. Just off that pad on the elbow, and he makes his way down to first base. So leadoff single, Elko strikes out. This one just clips the elbow pad of Kevin Graham, and the Rebels are in business.
Well, now a righty in Kemp Alderman, who struck out on 97 his first time against Horton. Alderman 7 for 20 here in Omaha with 3 multi-hit games. Slider stayed up. You guys talked about it last night. Skip Johnson, the Oklahoma head coach, he loves Kemp Alderman. There's no tampering, but would Kemp Alderman get in the portal, Skip Johnson would be in the truck quickly.
He wouldn't be the only one.
0-2.
He struck him out with that one last time. It was the elevated fastball out away from him. Just based on swing paths and the way that Alderman looked at first at bat, I like the fastball better against him. The slider looks like he could run into and hit a long way.
2 on, 1 out. And the 0-2. There it is. Another fastball, 96, and a 7th strikeout for Cade Horton, and there's 2 gone.
Similar to the first time up. And the fastball was ticking up. So first pitch slider steals a strike, then elevate the fastball and do the exact same thing. The approach against Alderman has been similar both times. Strikes early with a breaking ball, finishing with a fastball late.
So now Calvin Harris will try to capitalize on this opportunity for Ole Miss. 2 outs, no score, bottom of the 4th in game 2. Swing and a miss.
This is as good as you could hope for if you're a Rebel, right? You got a left-hander Harris who's been red hot up with a guy in scoring position. Opportunities are not going to be many in this game. Feels like a huge spot here for Calvin Harris,
who struck out on a fastball his first time. 0-1. Up and away with a slider. You guys mentioned the home run from Harris yesterday. 430 feet, and it was his first left-on-left home run of the season, according to 643 charts. Part of that barrage for the Rebels late. The 1-1. Elevated fastball, and it's 1-2.
Well, I mean, and we've got it here today. The ballpark is gettable into the big part of the field because we have a breeze blowing out to center field. And Harris hit a ball we're just not used to seeing go out here very often. High into just right of center. Sailed out of here into the night.
TJ McCants got it started. The first of those 3 in a row. 2 out, 2 on. And a 1-2 pitch. Up and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Calvin Harris.
Feels like he's lost that glove side slider.
Yeah, he's getting around it instead of getting over the top. When you get around it, that ball spins a lot more and just doesn't have the tight spin that he did earlier in this game. It's not an incredibly difficult solve. It's just getting more of your front foot and finishing that pitch. But right now he's in hand position, just getting around it enough that it doesn't allow him to finish.
On the 25th pitch of this 4th inning. Ground ball towards short, and Peyton Graham taps the bag for the force on Kevin Graham. No score after 4. And Skip Johnson is with Chris on the air.
Welcome back to Omaha. The NCAA Men's College World Series presented by Capital One. Joined with Skip Johnson. What have you seen out of Cade Horton in those first 4 innings?
Looks like he's really comfortable right now. He's got to continue to execute the 2-strike pitch. That's the biggest one.
Coming off the Tommy John surgery, at what point this season did you realize this kind of stuff was coming for him?
When he was a freshman, really, I mean, he was really good. And then you never know when adversity hits. He bounced back really good, which is incredible. It's really a testament to our training staff and our strength coach.
After the loss yesterday, what was the message to your team this morning?
Today, we had to win 2 yesterday morning. We got to win 2 again today.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
That adds up. He's got Cade Horton working in this one.
My favorite type of math is simple math. We're still going to win 2.
Yeah.
Pretty simple. Win 1, then had a lot better chance of winning the second.
For a program that hadn't been here in Omaha since 2010, the final season at Rosenblatt Stadium. Skip Johnson, by the way, he told us in no uncertain terms 2020, when the season got shut down, he felt like that team would have been here at the College World Series. And then below 500 last season. And here in 2022, down a game to Ole Miss in this best of 3 finals as we go to the 5th. 4, 5, and 6 for the Sooners, beginning with Tanner Treadaway. .105 hits this season for Treadaway, the 2nd most in school history. And he lines one to right center at Calvin Harris for the first out.
How many wins this one?
It's feeling like about 3, maybe.
I'll take the under.
I was going to say 2. Nothing so far on either side. And here's Jimmy Crooks. Catcher takes a strike from Hunter Elliot. Crooks, a guy who's a leader on this team, redshirt sophomore catcher from the Dallas-Fort Worth area, who Skip Johnson was telling us he can really get on his teammates pretty good. He'll head out to the mound and he'll give his pitchers an earful when he needs to. Nothing at 2.
Yeah, which I love that from a catcher, that he's not afraid to go kind of be the pitching coach on the field. Skip even said sometimes he's got to back him off, but he definitely has a catcher's mentality. He's taking ownership of the pitching staff.
Hunter Elliott's 0-2. Sails high.
What percentage of college hitters do you think don't use batting gloves?
1?
Yeah, I was going to say it's less than 5. You just don't see it anymore.
We got a couple in this ball game. Calvin Harris.
No, thank you. 1-2 to Crooks. On the ground, right side. Chanier ranges to his left. He spins and he throws out Crooks. What a dandy by Peyton Chatinier.
Hey now, Peyton Chatinier putting on a show for us here this afternoon. We already saw the glove flip. Now the range to his left. Love the angle. A deep angle into shallow right field. And then the awareness to lose sight of first. Watch him. He's going to turn his back to first base, yet still throw it accurately. A nice job there by the captain of hanging in there. I thought he stayed on the base. Let's see if he actually does.
Yeah,
I think he's on there.
He did. It's close, ball and glove, and he comes off about a frame or two later. Yeah.
Oklahoma is challenging the call of out at first base. The previous play is under review.
You get 2 coaches' challenges. If this were in the 8th or 9th, the crew chief can go to this on his own, but Oklahoma with the challenge here.
I think he stayed on there just long enough. He had a feel for the runner bearing down on him. Certainly had a little more time, but I think the foot's still engaged. Not by much, but I think that one will stand. Yeah, there you go. It's a great look there.
That's when that first contact is made in the webbing, and that glove starts to close. In this case for Tim Elko.
The umpires in powder blue think that he's out. There's about 20,000 of them in the stands right now.
Yeah.
In a stunning turn of events.
Yes.
And
After review, the call of the field of out at first base is confirmed. Oklahoma is charged 1 challenge and has 1 remaining.
They would have kept it had it been overturned. Instead, 1 challenge left for Skip Johnson in Oklahoma. Well, for all the talk about Cade Horton, Hunter Elliot has been excellent. Just the 1 hit, 1 walk. He has punched out 5 in 4 2/3. And now Wallace Clark, who struck out on a slider back in the 2nd. Strike 1.
He's got that little glove tap for Elliot when he goes home. So as he's starting out of the windup, going towards home, now right before he breaks his hands, it's a little glove tap that then ultimately it times him up for the whole thing. Just a tiny one.
All in.
Sort of mid windup.
Yeah, I don't know the exact reason, but a lot of guys that do this, it keeps you all timed up. Just barely takes that ball out of his glove. And when that tap happens is when the arm swing starts and everything's moving towards home plate.
of course, you see infielders do it all the time. They'll pat their glove. Mark Pryor, I remember, used to do that. He had a very pronounced.
You just better make sure you do it on every pitch. Because if you don't, they're going to figure it out.
Slow roller foul up along 3rd. Well, Elliot has faced the minimum because of the double play ball in the 1st and the pickoff in the 3rd.
That would be, if he gets this out, that would be the 2nd game in a row, right? Doherty was
to face the minimum.
Yeah,
through 5.
Yeah.
Doherty was perfect into the 6th yesterday. And now Elliot today. A 1-2 to Clark is popped up. Shallow right center, and T.J. McCants takes charge. The minimum through 5 indeed. Mike Bianco, the Ole Miss skipper, with Chris after this.
To Omaha, joined with Ole Miss head coach Mike Bianco. Take us into the personality of Hunter Elliot as a freshman. What allows him to handle these big moments?
Yeah, I wish I knew, because we would get everybody to do it. But, there's special ones, occasionally that the stage is never too big for them. And Hunter, we didn't know. We knew he was talented, but, sometimes you don't know until you put him on that stage. And especially through postseason, he's been terrific for us.
What have you seen out of his stuff so far today?
Really good. I mean, and one of the keys to Oklahoma, because they are so selective at the plate, you have to, pound the strike zone, and he's done that today.
What's impressed you about the way your team has handled what is on the line today?
Oh, they've been terrific. Unfortunately, Horton's on the mound, and he's really good on the other side. So we've gotten some better swings off, but he's really tough. We got to catch up to a couple fastballs.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, Chris, a program without a national championship in baseball, 1 win away after the win yesterday in Game 1, and going up against Cade Horton, who will now face 7-8-9 from the Rebels here in the bottom of the 5th with no score. Peyton Chatinier struck out his first time. Mike Bianco told us yesterday he knew Hunter Elliott was going to go game 1 or game 2, and they wanted him to be at his best, to have his best shot when they used that bullet. And boy, with what Jack Doherty did yesterday and what Elliott has done today, it has paid off in a big way.
Pretty incredible. I mean, he came into this game with 2 earned runs in 18 2/3 in the postseason, and now he's thrown 5 shutout innings here to start game 2 of the championship series. This is not freshman type stuff here from Elliot.
When you come into this game and your postseason ERA is below 1 and it goes down during the game, that is a positive.
He's a cool customer. He's just chewing on some apples. Yeah, game 2, no biggie.
I think that's been kind of the whole vibe around this Ole Miss club is they have really looked relaxed on this stage.
Since their name was called, they've had nothing to lose at all. It gave them new life, and they've been in attack mode for 4 weeks straight. That was better.
Good to the glove side, as you said, Berkey.
We just didn't see it. I mean, the entire 4th inning, he could not get this pitch. The glove side slider that runs away from the barrel of right-handed hitters. When he puts it there, it is a real problem for righties.
One thing to watch, too, with Horton is, does the stuff change when he gets into the stretch? And it will for some guys, to where out of the windup, it allows him to get over the slider a little bit more. And out of the stretch, maybe he was trying to run it to home plate a little bit, to where the arm was getting around it.
He's out of the wind here to the 8th man in the Ole Miss lineup, Hayden Dunhurst. Grounded to first his first time. And he vaults this one into center. Tanner Treadaway is looking for it, locates it, shades on. 2 down. Hey, August 1st, Sooner Vision is coming to ESPN Plus. Over 100 live events, Sooner studio programming, and exclusive archival content. Stream 1 live Oklahoma football game, the spring game, plus 25 men's and women's basketball games, not to mention your national champion gymnastics and softball teams. Sign up now at espnplus.com/OU.
Good, the Sooners coming back to Lincoln this fall now.
How you feel about that one?
I will be in attendance. I will tell you that. Those OU Nebraska games growing up, I would not miss.
TJ McCants the batter with 2 outs for Ole Miss, no one out in the 5th, and it's quickly 0-2.
So the only prediction is that you'll be there. You're not going to touch the score.
Berkey, I can't tell you 5 guys that play on either football team. So for me to give you anything more than I just plan to attend.
Okay.
0-2 pitch on a check swing. McCants takes off, and Horton strikes out McCants. He bookends a 1-2-3 5th with a couple of Ks, and he's got 9 total today. The same from Ole Miss starting pitching. How about a 1.80 ERA as a team in Omaha?
It's a pretty good formula. Pretty good formula to hold the trophy right there. And Hunter Elliott certainly pitching like somebody that's determined to get that trophy in his hands. The problem is the guy across from him looks exactly the same way. We got a couple aces who are dialed in here this afternoon.
Ole Miss starters now in the NCAA tournament, at least 5 innings in 10 of 11 games for a pitching staff that shape-shifted over the course of this season.
They found the right shape.
Yes.
They found the right one. Jack Doherty looks on after starting the game with 5 perfect last night. Now the Sooners with the leadoff man on. That's the first time that has happened since the first inning.
Jackson Nicholas says it hit my elbow guard. Third base runner for the Sooners against Elliott in this one.
But you got to pay it off, right? I mean, you got to pay this leadoff runner off somehow, figure out a way to move him around. And don't be surprised if Muniz goes with the push bunt here. I mean, I love the push bunt against the left-handed pitcher. A lot of different things the Sooners can do here with this leadoff runner on at the bottom of the order.
He squares, and Elliott was keeping his man close and maybe seeing what Muniz could do.
100%. The pick in that spot. I mean, if you get lucky and pick the guy off, great. But the pick in that spot is like the inside move to second base when there's a guy, just to see if we can get an idea if they're bunting. And it gave him a pretty good idea. OU on the season 34 sack bunts. Muniz has 3 of them.
Still on.
Well, and that was the early one. Sometimes, okay, they're going to pick. I'm going to show it early. Don't be surprised if you see a slash here, too. I mean, Reggie Willis has shown us everything this week as far as the inside game. We've seen a sack. We've seen a bunt for a hit. We've seen the slash. They will do it all.
Well, it's the assistant coach who's made such a big impact for the Sooners this year. Muniz pulls it back. Called a strike. Former Sooner himself, an Oklahoma native who the last 4 years first base coach for the Yankees.
Yeah, left the Yankees to come and run the offense here for Skip Johnson, and he has made a huge impact.
Texted Booney about him a few days ago. 2-word answer. He's awesome. That was it. Pretty much covered all of it.
Skip Johnson told us this week we couldn't afford him at first, but Willis was always around. He'd come over with his kids, and that's how the relationship started. 1-1, and this is pushed toward first. Elko will take the sure thing. Sacrifice successful, and Jackson Nicholas in the scoring position. Yeah, pretty good guy to have on staff, and he has changed the culture offensively, and Skip Johnson has loved having him around.
Yeah, it took a lot of weight off his shoulders as far as just owning the offense, working with all the different types of things they want to do. And for Skip, that really has freed him up to manage, right? Manage the program and then just really focus on the pitching side of things. Certainly a big reason they were under 500 last year and now in the College World Series finals this year. What a turnaround it's been.
And their backs against the wall. Down a game in this best of 3. Kendall Pettis, the batter. He walked against Elliot his first time. Kendall Pettis, third-year player who, for a few months now, he's been playing with a completely torn UCL. He told us he's not going to need surgery. It's in his non-throwing arm, his left arm. And he has come back from it. He got rid of the brace, and he's been great down the stretch. Takes a strike.
Okay, now his takes first time up were very comfortable takes, and he took a 3-2 changeup that was down and out of the zone. I don't like comfortable takes if I'm on the mound. That generally means that he's picking it up.
And so Hunter Elliott trying to solve Kendall Pettis. Mike Bianco told Chris they would love to bottle up the poise that Elliott has and give it to everyone. Is 1-1. That's a strike, 1 and 2. This crowd trying to will Elliott to a second out here in the 6th inning. Still with no score. On a 1-2 pitch. This one kicks away from Hayden Dunhurst. Throw is not going to get him. It pulled Elko up, and Pettis is on, and Oklahoma's got him at the corners with 1 down in the 6th.
This one surprised me from Dunhurst.
It took a long time.
Well, once the ball gets away, watch, for some reason, like, you know, the runner's going to third. I don't know why he looked. And he kind of looked at third and took a extra half second to gather. Then you got to throw a rocket just to have a chance, and the throw pulls off Elko. And that seemed to be a little lackadaisical from Hayden Dunhurst on a play where he had 0 margin for error.
Here comes Mike Bianco. 78 pitches for Hunter Elliott, and dealing with traffic with 2 aboard here and just the 1 out in the 6th.
Yeah, this discussion is there's a million things that Oklahoma can do right now, and it's just trying to cover a few of them, because if you're playing an SEC game in a spot like this, I mean, maybe you get a safety, but it doesn't feel like there's going to be There's just not as much action in most SEC games as Oklahoma shows you. And so in this spot, Mike Bianco's going back and going over, okay, if they do this, then let's do this. First and foremost, get it out. I mean, if they, I think one of the hardest things, if they safety right here, just make sure you get it out. If it's right back to the pitcher, you got a chance at home plate, great. What I'd be surprised happens right here, if Spikerman just stands in there and swings.
No,
it's like something is going to happen.
This is the first and third safety bunt. Like we've seen Oklahoma do it. They're going to do it. It puts the first baseman in a really tough spot. It puts the third baseman in a tough spot. And if the runner gets a good jump and you don't bunt it right at somebody, it's almost impossible with it being a tag play, not a force out at home.
Best defended how?
You got to crash your first baseman and your third baseman. Like both of them have to pinch the home plate area if you're really going to try to cut down this run. And you send your first baseman when the left or the right foot of Elliot leaves the ground. You just crash it.
The leadoff man and the freshman, John Spikerman, against Elliot. Does not square and takes ball one.
Okay, so this was the strikeout pitch. Watch the glove of Dunhurst. He got crossed up. Because that move right there is a move like he's going down to block a breaking ball, not like he's going down to catch a fastball low. And you don't see him make that move unless he thinks that it's a breaking ball going down into the dirt. It totally changed, obviously, the outcome.
Now Spikerman squares, drops it down. Elliot goes to first and throws it away. Nicholas already in to score. Pettis stops at third, and the Sooners lead in the sixth.
Pressure, man. It just pressure speeds everybody up. And we talk about it, just get and out. Well, Spikerman can really run. And so the mind of the left-hander is getting sped up right about now. He's got enough time, but then the body takes him more into the base runner. That one definitely shook up Elko because he went down right away. He was trying to make the catch at the same time the base runner's getting there, goes down the right field line. OU gets two more. Mike Bianco out right now, I think, to ask whether or not the runner was in fair territory as he got closer to first base. That felt more like the body of Elliot was pulling towards the first baseline, and that's why the throw was there. He is probably going to be called out. And I hate this rule because the base is fully in fair territory.
Ole Miss is challenging the runner's lane potential interference at first base. The play is under further review.
He's inside the line.
Well, so if
meaning in fair territory of the line.
He is. My point is if the entire base is in fair territory, he's on his last
right,
step.
But that's more of a philosophical debate. The question is here: is he legal or not? There, he's legal. Let's see as he gets closer to the base.
He's not. He's not legal. By the rule, he's not. And by the rule, if that is called, it takes a run off the board.
Well, it's absolutely the right play for Mike Bianco to challenge it. And looks like he's going to win this one.
Trainer came out to talk with Tim Elko for a minute. Now that Tim Elko has disappeared.
If he wins it, everybody goes back.
And sure looks like this will get flipped.
This will be if this gets overturned, which it looks like it will. This will be a tough one for the Sooners because they did everything right there offensively.
After review, the call on the field is overturned. The runner is out for interference. Runners will go back to first and third base.
It's running outside the 3-foot restraining line or inside the foul line, and in so doing, interfering with the fielder taking the throw at first base.
It's the right call with the way that the rules are written. And you could see as Spikerman was going down to first base, he was on the line. The last few steps, he was in fair territory. By rule, he is out, and by rule, the base runners go back. I understand frustration if you're the Oklahoma coaching staff right now, but when you go back and look at it, I don't know if you can disagree with it. The crazy thing is that the run scores. Like that doesn't, I mean, obviously the outcome affects whether or not, but the run is going to score in either case, whether you're safe or out at first base. The only way the run doesn't score
is interference, right?
This is it.
And that's what Jackson Nicholas is saying. I was going to score no matter what Elliot decides to go to first, but that is what interference is.
That's the rule. And you can be upset about it. At the end of the day, that's one of those things. I guarantee you Reggie Willits has worked on that with their runners. Like, let's not mess this one up by being outside the runner's lane. But it is what it is. They still have their star up here in Peyton Graham with 2 on and 2 outs.
Wow, what a swing here in this 6th. And now Peyton Graham indeed, who's 0 for 2 so far, the first-team All-American shortstop, goes first pitch swinging in the air to right with Harris in, and Elliot escapes. What a shift here in the 6th in Omaha. Peyton Graham with a fly out to right, and frustration on one side and elation on the other, with a momentum swing that you could only concoct somehow. Wondering how that happened. And Skip Johnson, the Oklahoma head coach, was hot, but that is the way the rule is written.
And I really thought Adam Dowdy did a great job of giving Skip Johnson some space. Obviously, he's going to be frustration. These guys are playing for a national championship. And he just wore it and controlled it. And that was umpiring one-on-one right there by Adam Dowdy on dealing with the conflict of a bench that's certainly disappointed in the way that play unfolded.
Man, in Game 2 of this College World Series Finals, with Ole Miss the winner in Game 1 yesterday, it looked like Oklahoma had just taken a lead in the top of the 6th. Instead, we are scoreless still into the home half of this 6th inning. Third time through the Ole Miss lineup, and Justin Bench pops one up toward third. And Peyton Graham runs in and makes the play and says, I got you, Wallace Clark. One down.
Good job of communicating and staying with that one. A ball right to the third baseman. That one could have fallen had Graham not come over there and helped his buddy out. The angles can be very tricky with that high sun today.
Brings up Jacob Gonzalez. Takes a first pitch that misses from Cade Horton. Gonzalez with one of just 3 hits in this game. Boy, it looked like Oklahoma was going to get a run without a hit in that inning. Hit batter, sack bunt, drop third strike, and then a safety squeeze.
One of those days that one run feels like a lot.
Horton's 1-1. This is pulled deep to right field, back to the wall, and gone! The Rebels lead.
Sometimes it just takes one, right? He had been ice cold, a rocket his last AB, and the swings looked awfully comfortable from the first pitch of that sequence. And boy, that hanging breaking ball, and Jacob Gonzalez makes him pay.
Wow. Tim Elko with one down. First pitch swinging, and he pops it up in foul ground. Blake Robertson can't make the play. So another life for Tim Elko.
A lot of foul ground here at Charles Schwab Field, and Robertson is on his own here because Nicholas is playing the shift, and looked like he started feeling like he was closer to the railing than he actually was, and that, you talk about a missed opportunity. Now Tim Elko has second life.
And the decibels increase here in Omaha. 0-1. Popped up third base side, and that will find the seats. So hits in each of the last two trips, as we said, for Jacob Gonzalez, breaking up what had been an 0 for 13 for a guy that our ESPN insider Kylie McDaniel said he might be a candidate to go first overall next year.
The later at bats last night looked closer. I know that it wasn't a hit, but it looked closer. Obviously a single earlier today, and then one swing that could end up being a very historic swing for Ole Miss.
Oh-2. Elko on the screws, tailing away in right center, and Tanner Treadaway there for the second out after the big fly from Jacob Gonzalez.
So we talked about Horton's just had trouble getting that breaking ball down into the glove side, and that one is just spinning right down Broadway. There have been some really aggressive swings already in that at bat, and this ball is a no-doubter to right center field. Now 18 home runs on the year for Jacob Gonzalez. He has been quiet here in Omaha. He is quiet no more, and there's some showers going on in right field.
First pitch swinging from Kevin Graham. Inning over, damage done. Jacob Gonzalez has announced his presence here in Omaha. And the events in the 6th inning. Safety squeeze from Oklahoma, and it looks like the Sooners had taken the lead. But interference on John Spikerman running down the line.
The runner is out for interference.
Took the run off the board, and then Jacob Gonzalez goes deep, and Ole Miss has the lead into the 7th.
I do think, and again, the rule was interpreted the right way. The way the rule is written. I think the rule needs to be written different. If it's your last step as you go into first base, I think it's an acceptable position to be in, given that first base is entirely in fair territory. If it's earlier than that, I get it. Again, it was called right the way that it's written. I just wish that they would look at the rule.
It seems to be something that pops up on the biggest stage at all levels of baseball, and it just feels like there's a better answer than what we currently have.
And now to the 7th, Hunter Elliott against 3, 4, and 5. And think about this too. I mean, if that isn't overturned, Oklahoma has 2nd and 3rd, 1 out.
And a run in. Yeah.
And Peyton Graham.
Yeah.
Instead, a fly out to right from Peyton Graham ended that top half of the 6th. On the ground left side, and Justin Bench throws out Blake Robertson, 1 away.
Guys, a dramatic shift in emotions, and it continues to carry in this Oklahoma dugout. Thrown helmets, thrown cups. You add on top of that, you're playing in a stadium that is 90% Ole Miss fans, and you can tell really starting to get to these guys in the Oklahoma dugout.
How do you flip it now in what's left, trying to fight for your season?
I mean, they can flip in one swing. We just saw that happen for Ole Miss, but it's still 1-0. I mean, it's not like it's 8-0 right now, and you get a dynamic offense, but also got a pretty dynamic left-hander that's handled them so far.
85 pitches deep, and Elliot's first misses to the cleanup man Tanner Treadaway, who has been a rallying point for this team. It was a couple of weekends ago in the regional final. That morning, his teammate Kendall Pettis got up and said, "I don't want this to be the end for Tanner Treadaway and all that he has done for this Sooners program."
Well, and you ask how you flip it. I mean, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's their guys, right? They have 1 hit so far in these 2 games. If they're going to flip it, they need the middle of that order to come up with a few big swings.
In the air, center field. And T.J. McCants makes the play and hangs on to it for the second out.
This vantage point sometimes shows you where there may be some trouble spots when the ball goes up into the air, and this one looked iffy from the beginning. I mean, both of these routes were a little bit deeper than they needed to be, and on a ball that you think 90% of the time is going to be caught by the center fielder fairly easily. It took a last-minute move by Calvin Harris to peel off, and T.J. McCants to just run it down.
Well, normally you want the corner outfielder to be behind the center fielder. That is not the way you draw it up right there. They're fortunate there was not a collision. That one could have gotten ugly.
And now Jimmy Crooks bats with 2 outs, no one on. Oklahoma down by 1. And the batter in Crooks, who hit 4 home runs in the regular season. He's got 5 in the postseason, beginning with one that he hit in the Big 12 tournament title game against Texas. Just 1 hit for the Sooners against Hunter Elliott. Wave and a miss on the breaking ball.
Nichols jumping in the left-hander. John Gaddis up in front. He was a Friday night starter for some of this season for Ole Miss.
Hunter Elliott's 0-2 to Crooks is yanked to first, and that's a fair ball past Elko, caroming off the sidewall. Harris's throw to second, offline. Crooks is safe with a 2-out double in the 7th, and just the 2nd hit for Oklahoma this afternoon.
That's what they needed. You got to have one of your big guys come up with a big swing, a hanging breaking ball, and a rocket down the right field line. Jimmy Crooks taking a chance here with 2 outs to get into scoring position. And you love that chance, right? With 2 outs, always trying to get into scoring position. Now the Sooners have a chance here to tie it up with 2 outs.
With their true freshman third baseman Wallace Clark. 0 for 2 so far, struck out on a slider and then flew to center against Elliot and takes ball 1 upstairs. Skip Johnson has talked about big RBIs in big spots from this guy Wallace Clark. And with Crooks at second here in the 7th. On a 1-0 pitch, up and away, 2-0. Elliot deals outside, 3-0.
Yeah, I think you got a pitch to the left-hander on deck here. You're falling behind. Yeah, you're falling behind. You got an open base. What you can't do is challenge and give up the lead.
I agree with that. This is why I would go after him instead of the next guy. Wallace Clark doesn't have a home run this year. Nicholas has 11, and the splits are identical for Elliot righty against lefty.
But they're not for Nicholas.
4-pitch walk.
So Nicholas against left-handers, just 189. And I think with the base open, you fall behind the right-handed hitting Clark, and it's like, all right, let's pitch to the next guy. Just clinging to that 1-run lead right now.
95 pitches deep for Hunter Elliott, ready to face Jackson Nicholas. The true freshman with those 11 home runs, including a grand slam here on the opening day in Omaha. First pitch swinging, behind short, Graham coming on, and it drops. A run in to tie the game, and Oklahoma knots it up here in the 7th.
You can see the disappointment on Hunter Elliott. A good first pitch breaking ball right off the end of the bat, and Kevin Graham just didn't see it. Then he kind of slips coming in there. Gonzalez had a chance, but man, that is a really tough play for a shortstop with his back to the infield. This is a ball you expect Kevin Graham to get there on, and he just didn't see it soon enough, and a ball falls into no man's land. And just like that, boys, we got a tie ball game.
I would take a trip right now, and I don't know if I'd take him out, but I would take a trip just to slow everybody down, because you got 2 outs, nobody on if you're Ole Miss. And you go double, walk, flare double that looks like it's going to get caught. What you don't want to happen is for Hunter Elliott to elevate a fastball and get hurt. It doesn't look like he'll have the chance, as the bullpen gate has opened for Ole Miss.
And look who it is. Mason Nichols, who worked last night in game 1. He will take over for his fellow freshman Hunter Elliott here in the 7th. Heck of an outing from the rookie. He departs in a 1-1 game in the 7th in game 2.
The left-hander was outstanding again today for Ole Miss. Works into the 7th inning, gets the first 2 outs. 5 strikeouts on the day for Elliott. 3 swinging, 2 looking. The fastball, like it generally does, played up. And then he ran into trouble here in the 7th. 2 outs, nobody on. The Jimmy Crooks double, a walk, and then Jackson Nichols just hits to a spot that nobody can get to. It will go down as an RBI double and chase Hunter Elliott. He's responsible for the 2 Sooners standing on 2nd and 3rd.
He was muttering to himself on the mound, still shaking his head as Mason Nichols takes over. Came on with a 4-1 ball game, bases loaded, nobody out in the 6th inning. Took over for Jack Doherty, and now he's right back out there, and Oklahoma will counter with a pinch hitter, Sebastian Orduño, who was 2 for 4 yesterday, including a double in the 9th inning. First pitch is called strike 1 on the inside part of the plate.
The bats for Orduño last night were really, really good. It's not shocking to see him right in the ball game as soon as there was a right-hander on the mound. I feel pretty good if you're the Sooners with him up here. Seems to be seeing it very well.
Nichols 0-1. Slashed foul, and it's 0-2 on Orduño. It's Clark at 3rd. Nicholas at 2nd in a tie game. We told you earlier, Nichols admitted to butterflies last night, but he said the coaches have trusted me for big spots all season. Trying to come through here. 0-2 pitch. Sails high and snared by Dunhurst.
Nice job there. That one could have been trouble.
One of the best defensive catchers in the country in Hayden Dunhurst. One-two pitch. And that hits Orduño, and the Sooners have him loaded.
Mason Nichols came into the game last night bases loaded, didn't he?
Yes.
First pitch slider was out of the zone. They came back, landed a slider, and ended up having a big time outing. Mike Bianco, I would assume, is going to come out and talk about Orduño and whether or not. I think you got to ask right here. But
yes.
I think it will stay the way that it was. Easiest interpretation of the hit by pitch rule as to whether or not you bring a guy back or put him at first base. Did he hit the ball or did the ball hit him? You don't have to move out of the way. You just can't move into it. And at least at first look, I thought Orduño just stood there. I mean, there's a little move, but you could also say that's.
Ole Miss is challenging the intentional hit by pitch. Plays under review.
So this is where it gets interesting because he moves towards the ball. Now the question is that him initiating his swing?
Correct.
Because the swing starts from the ground up. So you could argue that he's just starting to make his move and then he's stopping his swing. But by the letter of the rule, his knee moves towards the ball. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that. I saw his hands move enough, I think, that I would say that it should stand. But I am not terribly confident in that position.
I think this one's going to be overturned. What you
These
got?
might be the two most controversial
Yeah.
rules we have in the
Agreed.
game of college baseball. And again, you guys said it, but letter of the law. If you are judged to intentionally make a movement to be hit by the pitch, it's a strike. So is that to be hit by the pitch and not part of the natural swing and movement from Sebastian Orduña?
Well, it gets difficult when you start talking about intent.
Yep.
The question is, did the body move towards the ball? And I think it's pretty hard to argue that it didn't.
Count was 2-1. So if they bring it back, it makes it a 2-2 count.
After review, the call on the field is confirmed. Hit by pitch, runner gets first base.
Told you.
Ole
Yeah,
Miss
you got
is
it.
charged, one challenge,
Told you it was
and has
that.
one remaining.
Oh, man. Two of these just in the last couple of innings. So now they're loaded to the 9th spot in the Oklahoma lineup for Kendall Pettis, who has had better plate appearances over the last game and a half. A walk his first time, and then he struck out, but advanced on the drop third strike. He squares, pulls back, and takes ball 1 with Wallace Clark at third, Jackson Nicholas at second, and Sebastian Orduña at first.
So 2 outs, bases loaded on the mound. The last thing that you're expecting Kendall Pettis to do on the first pitch is to square around a bunt. He was taking the entire time, but it'll play with your head a little bit.
Again.
He's taking.
I think he's going to do that until he throws him a strike.
Yeah.
KP, you were starting to say it. That slider that got bounced in by Nichols last night, he found it right after that when it looked dicey.
Yes. He's got to find it again right now.
In back-to-back games for the first time this season. 2-0 to Pettis. 3-0 and nowhere to put Kendall Pettis.
So this may seem small. Him squaring to bunt in a situation like this is a brilliant move by Oklahoma, because you are not expecting to see that in the situation on the mound, and I think it got the freshman spinning a little bit.
Ball 4 and Oklahoma leads. 4 straight out of the zone from Mason Nichols, with Pettis squaring.
2 outs and nobody on, and the Sooners have mounted some sort of rally here in the 7th.
And now 2 of the next 3 are lefties. And with Nichols laboring, a hit batter and a bases loaded walk, Mike Bianco goes right back to the pen for John Gaddis, the 5th-year senior lefty here in the 7th. Game 2 in a best of 3. Ole Miss 1 win away from a national championship. Oklahoma trying to force a decisive Game 3 tomorrow.
It's kind of fun, huh? It's one of those games. It's not quite as much fun if you're in either dugout right now, because there's a few things going on, but Ole Miss is going to go to their 3rd arm of the inning. Remember, this started 2 outs, nobody on. And it was the Crooks double that got everything going. And now John Gaddis, who was in a starting role for a lot of this season this year, comes in out of the bullpen. The left-hander will face the freshman John Spikerman, and this will move him around to the right side of the plate.
Couple of freshmen were the first 2 arms in this inning. And now Gaddis, the 5th-year senior who pitched Wednesday against Arkansas. 5 innings of 2-run ball with 4 strikeouts. Bases loaded, 2 outs in the 7th, and Spikerman squares and takes ball 1.
We saw this from them a little bit late last night against Mallets. Like they're going to keep doing this fake bunt until Ole Miss throws a strike.
That just misses, and it's 2-0 now.
First 3 games in this tournament, Oklahoma walked 18 times. It was a significant part of why they advanced 3-0. It was a different story last night, but that patience And a big difference in this inning. That one is there.
Pull off the squaring now that there has been a strike. Assistant coach Reggie Willits looks on. His freshman at the dish. Takes outside, 3-1. It's been a hit batter, a bases loaded walk, and now a 3-1 for a strike from Gaddis and a full count. With the first team All-American on deck for the Sooners. Gaddis deals and struck him out.
Getting good right now. The left-hander Gaddis comes in. 3-1, 3-2. Fastball gets out of it, but the Sooners take their first lead of the night. Stretch time in Omaha. It's 2-1.
Bottom of the 7th inning here in Omaha in Game 2 of this College World Series Finals. Want to know the count on Kemp Alderman. 5, 6, and 7 for the Rebels, who are still facing Cade Horton, who is still on the bump for Oklahoma.
Does it feel like one base runner and you get out of the bullpen if you're OU right now?
They waited nearly a half hour. Dots a fastball at 93, 1-2 on Alderman.
It's just 84 pitches, but again, the breaking ball just kind of screams that maybe he's not feeling nearly as good as he did the first time through.
1-2 pitch. Gets Alderman swinging. So the breaking ball punches out Alderman for the 3rd time, and there's one gone.
Unless he does that.
He found that one again. Yeah, I mean, the middle innings he was getting around it, but I think he was getting around it a little bit more when he was out of the stretch. And when you get him into the stretch, the stuff ticked down a little bit. Fastball was 93, 94, and that buries the breaking ball now. Alderman has now struck out all 3 times. Twice on the elevated fastball, that time on the breaking ball in the dirt.
Brings up Calvin Harris, who swings through the first one that he sees. He's 0 for 2 out of the 6th spot with a strikeout swinging on a fastball and a ground ball to short. You've got Trevin Michael, an All-American reliever, at the ready for Oklahoma. Another breaking ball.
Well, he certainly still believes in it. That second one was really, really good.
21 swings and misses from Cade Horton. On this stage in Omaha, Nebraska. Horton's 0-2. Dips low.
0-2 changeup. He hadn't thrown maybe 5 the whole day.
He said he's going to need something as he continues to lefties. Misses here. 2-2 now on Harris.
No fastballs in this at bat, right? Couple breakers to start, then the changeup down, back to the breaking ball.
Peyton Chatinier next for the Rebels. 2-2. And another strikeout. Back to the slider for Cade Horton. Back-to-back punchies and 11 total.
He's found it. He ran one down and out of the zone to get Alderman swinging, and then this one quite as good as the one he had thrown to Kemp Alderman, but good enough. Calvin Harris strikes out for the second. For the second time, I would say he's starting to come into that stuff right now. 4th time since 1999. The same starters punched out 10 or more twice in the College World Series. And not done quite yet.
The last 2, Alex Faedo for Florida in 2017 and Trevor Bauer in 2010 for UCLA. 1-1. Another good one to the glove side against Chatnier. Redshirt freshman who had Tommy John last February is 1-1. From Norman originally. He told us this week, I didn't grow up a Sooners fan though, because when I was younger, played ball with Mike Gundy's son, so kind of a cowboy. But boy, has he been good for Oklahoma. 2-1 pitch. Drifts outside. 3-1. (22 strikeouts and 1 walk in his 2 starts at the College World Series. His 3-1. Popped up foul and a full count.
Still holding 94 miles an hour here in the bottom of the 7th as he nears 100 pitches. It has been some sort of performance here. Looking for that last out here in the 7th. So it tells me this might be his last hitter.
3-2. He's popped up foul again. This is the first 3-ball count that Cade Horton has been in all game. Everyday Trevin just about looms in the pen. 3-2 from Horton. Struck him out. Strikes out the side in the 7th, and a dozen Ks for Cade Horton. 8th inning time. Oklahoma 2, Ole Miss 1 in game 2 of the College World Series Finals. Oklahoma must win, trying to force a game 3. Think about that Oklahoma softball team, national champions in Oklahoma City. And now baseball here in Omaha. As Peyton Graham rolls out to second at Peyton Chatnier against John Gaddis, who is the arm that Mike Bianco went to. Brandon Johnson, the closer, I mean, he's got 11 saves on the season, but haven't seen him a ton here in Omaha.
No, and thought we would see him in a situation like this. A little bit surprised that he hadn't even been up. I don't know if there's something that they're concerned about with Johnson. I know he's been a big part of the back end of their bullpen throughout a lot of the year. I know that Mallitz has kind of moved into that role, or at least a co-role with him. I still thought we may see him up and throwing before now.
Mallitz went 40 pitches in last night's game 1. And Gaddis ahead 0-2 on Blake Robertson. He doesn't tempt enough with the breaking ball.
I think the question is, did Mike Bianco want to use him before the latter innings, right? That was a leverage situation, certainly, but it feels like he's trying to save him for the back end if they're able to regain the lead here. I would say after Mallitz's outing last night that it'll be Johnson today if they have a lead to protect.
Robertson 0 for 3. The 2-2 is upstairs and a full count. Tanner Treadaway would be next here with 1 out in the 8th. He's 0 for 3 as well. And the Sooners lineup, and Robertson is on a 1-out walk.
Well, you asked earlier, Mikey, how they going to flip it, how the Sooners going to flip it, right? They needed these middle guys to get them going. Crooks got the whole thing started, right, with the double down the right field line, and now Robertson here in the 8th with a walk, and Treadaway, who's been kind of eerily quiet so far in the last 2 games, gets his chance.
He's due to get a little bit louder.
A guy who's now 0 for his last 6. But has been one of the stars over the last 6 weeks. That's the time where he hadn't had a hit in this game. Coming into today, he was 21 for 46, including 3 home runs in the NCAA tournament. Second team all conference in the Big 12. A ball and a strike. Gaddis is 1-1 in the air center field. Right at TJ McCants, who lines it up for the second out.
All right, now here comes Jimmy Crooks. He's got 2 3-run homers here in Omaha. Both have been on hanging breaking balls from left-handers. And it kind of feels like the pitch to start Jimmy Crooks off with, a get me over breaking ball, but just be careful. He has been all over those here.
Well, and the double that got OU started was against a left-hand. Pulled down the right field line.
It's almost a 900 OPS for Crooks against lefties. Split proof.
He's going to hear his name called pretty early, too. Left-handed catcher with power.
Skip Johnson said to us this week, big leaguer when he sizes up his backstop. You get a look at Derek Diamond, the righty in the pen.
Be careful with that breaking ball here. Back-to-back fastball. Something tells me they're going with something soft.
The 1-1 is low with a fastball.
That does not look like a man that is out of the baseball game.
No.
98 pitches deep for Cade Horton. Just struck out the side in the last half inning. 2-2. With the crowd on its feet, struck him out. Gaddis with a big K. Ole Miss coming up in the bottom. Over a week ago, we started with 8 teams in Omaha, Nebraska at the Men's College World Series. We are down to 2, and we are in Game 2 of this College World Series Finals. Ole Miss the winner last night in Game 1. Oklahoma has the lead into the bottom of the 8th inning. Up a run, and with a dozen strikeouts, Cade Horton is still out there, and now 99 pitches deep, ready to face 8, 9, and 1 for Ole Miss, starting with Hayden Dunhurst. His career high is 100 pitches a week ago today against Notre Dame. Tied for the most Ks in a Men's College World Series Finals game with those 12. 1-2.
So Cade Horton's given up 3 hits in this game. All the left-handed hitters. 2 to Jacob Gonzalez, a single to solo home run, and then a single to Kevin Graham back in the second. 2 of the 3 that he would face to start this inning from the left side.
Is it tempting fate with a righty as good as Trevin Michael is waiting in the bullpen for Oklahoma, or do you stick with the guy who's been nailed?
It is tempting fate. I would agree with you. It is definitely doing that. But his stuff the last few innings has looked a little bit better than it did in the 3rd and the 4th. And that makes you feel a little bit better. Elevated fastball down a few ticks from what it was early. He was 96, 97. That one's still 93, but good enough for his 13th strikeout and now 4th in a row. I think your fear is a lefty gonna run into one like Gonzalez did? Not necessarily. Like, you can get out of trouble before he gives up 3 hits in an inning. My biggest fear if you're Ole Miss is, in this case, is McCants gonna run into a breaking ball like he did last night.
He yanked a slider for a home run to right field last night. The guy who's been battling that thumb injury on his left hand, his glove hand, over the last few weeks. 0 for 2 with a fly out to center, and you see the strikeout his last time in the 5th. Behind 0-2.
You see him staying away with the fastball. It had a 2-1 lead here in the 8th. Like it has to be in the back of your mind, the swing he made last night. Wouldn't shock me to see them stay away this entire AB.
0-2 pitch. Up and away. Cade Horton has struck out the last 4 that he has faced. And he's retired 6 in a row since the home run from Jacob Gonzalez in the 6th inning for the Rebels. 1-2 pitch. Back at Horton, up the middle into center. A 1-out base hit for T.J. McCants. Tying run aboard for Ole Miss in the 8th.
It feels like it gave him a chance with the breaking ball. It was fastball, fastball, fastball. They ran the last one out, and then this one, a breaking ball that you hear the seam go past your ear, and it sounds like a bumblebee. That's not a good feeling on the mound. And just happened to Cade Horton. Skip Johnson points down to the bullpen, and that'll be it for the right-hander. But man, did he go out and compete again. Career high 13 strikeouts. Cade Horton will leave with the Sooners leading 2-1.
Special stuff. I mean, you talk about putting a team on your back. Cade Horton did that here. You had to have his best, and he gave it to you. Skip Johnson, going to give him a lot of praise for the effort he gave them here this afternoon. Big-time stuff from Cade Horton.
College World Series moved to this field in 2011. Only 2 pitchers with more strikeouts than the 13 Cade Horton had in this one in a College World Series game. Jack Leiter and Will Bednar. That's the list. How about the day from Cade Horton? He exits with a lead in the 8th inning in Omaha.
Quite a College World Series. Game 1 against Notre Dame. Struck out 11. That was a career high. It's not a career high anymore. Because he came out today with stuff that was similar that we saw earlier this week. Fastball into the mid-90s, 2 different breaking balls. Ultimately, the slider was the differentiator. 13 strikeouts total for Horton. That a new career high. Leaves after 7 1/3. And he didn't walk anybody.
And now they give the baseball to Trevin Michael, a guy who has seen a lot in his college career. 6th-year senior, originally from Piedmont, Oklahoma. On Friday named a 2nd-team All-American by D1 Baseball, and you see the numbers.
94 strikeouts in 69 innings. This is a guy they won at the end. Counting on Trevin Michael and asking Trevin Michael to get the final 5 outs. If he does, it'll be a winner-take-all tomorrow for the national championship.
Tying run aboard for Ole Miss. Here in the bottom of the 8th, in front of the leadoff man, Justin Bench, the veteran for this Rebels team, a senior from Florida, part of the group that you guys talked about last night, who came back for Ole Miss this season. Michael's 0-1. McCants goes, and it's lined into right field, a base hit. McCants speeds to 3rd and gets a stop sign there, and is 90 feet away from tying this game.
Okay, so we saw Ole Miss stealing bases last night, and now we see action that totally changes the outcome of this play, Berkey.
You just love it, right? You got a veteran up there who can really handle the bat. You got a guy on the mound that is not quick to the plate. You trust Justin Bench to move the baseball, and he hits it perfectly in the hole created by Nicholas. And 1st and 3rd with just 1 out. You got the tying run 90 feet away, and a red-hot, well, seemingly a red-hot Jacob Gonzalez up to bat.
A single and a home run his last 2 trips. First pitch swinging, base hit right field. Gonzalez ties the game at 2 here in the 8th. And now look who it is. Tim Elko. A man practically synonymous with Ole Miss baseball. First and third, 1 out, 8th inning. First pitch. A strike on the outside part of the plate.
The crowd didn't like it, and deservedly so. That one was definitely off the plate. If you're Elko, you're sitting soft. It's 60% off speed to right-handed hitters for Michael. We already saw Bench hit a breaking ball to the backside. Something tells me they are hunting that slider.
0-1 pitch. Crosses up the catcher to the plate. Ole Miss leads. Justin Bench in from third on a cross-up.
There was nobody on second base. I didn't see if there were multiple signs given, but I know one thing. Jimmy Crooks thought it was a fastball coming, and that was not a fastball. That was a curveball that goes to the backstop, and my, oh my, did things just change real quickly here. The Rebels with 2 in the inning, and the heart of this order still coming up.
One pitch. Cut on and missed. It's an Oklahoma team that against Notre Dame last Sunday, even without base runners on, was going through all different side combinations to give the pitches.
Yeah, we've seen them do that all week, and I didn't exactly see what the communication was there, but there's obvious it was a crossover.
Little roller left side at Graham, who will go to first, and dug by Robertson for the second out.
And Oklahoma does do that consistently. They give multiple signs when there's not a guy on second base. I gotta be honest with you, I don't really understand it, because there's enough other things to worry about when you're out there, and all it takes is something like that, which obviously happened at a huge spot, to flip it. Jimmy Crooks was looking for a fastball. Instead, he got a breaking ball, and the Rebels take the lead.
Now we'll have a conversation before Kevin Graham bats here in the 8th. TJ McCants last night started the flurry late in the game with a home run. And today in the 8th inning, his 1-out single has spurred the Rebels with a win, trying to be national champions for the first time.
A couple guys in McCants and Gonzalez that maybe haven't swung it quite as well as they would like down the stretch, but man, have they been huge here over the last couple days.
Gonzalez at third with 2 outs. Trevin Michaels first. And strike 1 to Graham. He is singled. He's been hit by a pitch and rolled to first. Crooks past him. Gonzalez scores and the lead is 2. Wow.
It was an issue early yesterday, right? There were 3 wild pitches from Jake Bennett early that Crooks couldn't corral, and now here are a couple in this one late. Wow.
How about the roller coaster of the last 3 innings? Where's the heart rate, boys? Where we at? Elevated?
Both teams have flipped it quickly here, as you said, over the last couple innings.
A 3-run bottom of the 8th for the Rebels. 2-2. Popped up left side. Peyton Graham calls for it. Inning over. But Ole Miss has surged in front and is 3 outs away from a national championship. It's from the freshman who was on the bump today, Hunter Elliot, and an Ole Miss baseball team looking for its first College World Series title in school history. We wondered when we would see Brandon Johnson, and here he is in the top of the 9th with a 2-run lead.
They were just waiting for a lead, KP, and expect a fastball, and it will get up into the 96, 97 mile an hour range.
That's how he starts out. Wallace Clark. 6, 7, and 8 for Oklahoma. Down by 2. Ball and a strike on the freshman. The Sooners have been resilient all season. They fancy themselves a team of Davids, as in David versus Goliath. They need a comeback.
They got to get a Wallace on first base right now. Just get something started. The goal to get to Spikerman and turn this lineup over.
That's a strike. 2-2. Johnson's 2-2. Strike 3 called. 1 away. Well, here's a look at the current Capital One Cup standings. Capital One recognizes the best in college sports by awarding each of the winning schools with a $500,000 scholarship donation to the university's scholarship fund. Oklahoma now needs a Jackson aboard. Jackson Nicholas, another true freshman. He had the bloop double that scored a run last time, and he takes ball 1. Doesn't miss by much. One and one.
Right, if you're Oklahoma, it's obvious Brandon Johnson's got his good fastball, and he's going to lean on it. So you got to go up there and get ready for number 1. I understand being patient, but if he's filling up the zone, you're going to have to be ready to swing it.
There's 1-1 to Nicholas. It's a strike. 1-2. Johnson deals. Struck him out. 2 down. A team that had to sweat during the selection show. 1 out away. There was conversation about Mike Bianco and where he was at in his 22nd season at the helm of this program. They had been number 1 during the course of this year, but just needed a chance to get here. Ball 1 to Sebastian Orduño, who got hit by a pitch when he came on as a pinch hitter in the 7th. Johnson's 1-0. Fouled off 1-1.
Think about the range of emotions that coaching staff and these kids over the last month. You turn the TV on at noon on Memorial Day and you're not sure if you're going to hear your name. Now you're an out away from their first ever national title.
The 1-1 is a strike. 1-2. Johnson deals. Fouled off the mask of Hayden Dunhurst, who stumbles.
Yeah, it hit off the top, too. Right off the top of that helmet mask. And undoubtedly, the home plate umpire is going to give him a little bit more time. That one, that's scary when you see a guy start falling straight back.
About 25,000 here for this one in the College World Series Finals in Game 2. The senior Brandon Johnson peers in. 1-2 pitch. Struck him out! From last four in to last team standing. Ole Miss has won the College World Series. For the first time in program history, Ole Miss baseball national champions.
Just the way we thought it was going to be when we left Hoover, right? It's quite a testament to Mike Bianco, who has had to go through some rumblings this year, and this coaching staff. Guy that's been there for 22 years and literally has built, in many ways, what is history at Ole Miss, has brought that program up to a new level. And now he's done something nobody else has done. He trusted his kids. Bench, Elko, Graham, all come back for this opportunity, just for one shot, and it paid off.
A look at our Capital One rewarding performance. Ole Miss national champs.
Pretty special stuff. You think about Brandon Johnson coming in to finish this one out, and the emotion that has been stored up in a program that has been on the national stage so many times, had their heart broke so many times, but not this year. And what are they going to say now about the Rebels other than to call them national champions? And Tim Elko, the captain, with so many big memories, gets to put the cherry on top of a dog pile they will remember forever in Oxford.
Mike Bianco, a national champion head coach. He is with Chris Budden.
Coach, the drought is over. You're bringing a national championship back to Oxford. Describe to me the emotions right now.
It's tough, you know, as you can imagine. You know, so much goes into it, and we've had so many great teams over the years, and so many times we came short of this place, and it's been really disappointing. But this is, you know, for 22 years, a lot of guys that wore the uniform, they own a part of this, but the biggest part goes to these guys. You've talked about our story all week, and I've never seen a group of kids that were more resilient, more relentless, and you know, of course, super, super proud.
A month ago, you didn't know if you were... You knew that was coming. A month ago, you didn't know if this group was still playing baseball. How do you describe what they just pulled off?
I was trying to keep the glasses on so you wouldn't see me cry. I don't know if you can describe it. You know, we've talked, you know, as we continue to play and continue to get a chance to play in the NCAA tournament. We talked about the journey. We talked about what a great story this would be. And it was, and we had a lot of great moments along the way, but a lot of them end in Omaha. And, you know, one of the challenges when we won in Hattiesburg was don't go there just to show up, go to win. And, you know, and of course they did, and they were terrific.
For the seniors, Elko, Graham, bench, there's a lot of them. They decided to come back. What does this mean to end their careers like this?
Well, I've said this a few times, how fair it would be for them not to have been in the tournament. I know there's a lot of teams that didn't get in, but there's not a group of seniors that ever wore the Ole Miss uniform that won as many games as these guys. They've won so many games, and to get this opportunity, they made the most of it. But, you know, we talked about, you know, our struggles. The reason that we're here today was because of that leadership, because of those older guys, and they were awesome, and they deserve every second of this.
I know you're going to tell me it's not about you, but you've worn that uniform for 21 years. You finally get to pick up a trophy. Your whole family's here to see it. How rewarding is this moment for you?
You're right. It's not about me. You know, I'll have another team next year, but these 40 guys, it's the last time they'll be together, and it is their moment. For me personally, the coaching staff, the greatest assistant coaches in the country, it's neat. It's satisfying, and I can't wait to kiss my wife and hug my kids. It's a great day.
Go celebrate. Congratulations, Coach.
Thanks, Chris.
A team that was 7-14 at one point in SEC action, one of the last 4 teams to get into the 64-team field, and they are the champions.
Pretty special, and you can see the emotion on these kids, and hear it in Mike Bianco's voice. The run that they just had is one of the greats in NCAA college baseball history. It might not ever be seen again, the last 14 to do it the way they did, but it was dominant though. It wasn't like fluky, like they went out there and earned it.
So we talked to Mike Bianco, obviously plenty during this, and he talked about that list.
Yeah.
The list that was there. So win 40 games and win the division and win the SEC tournament, host a regional. But the last one on that list, the last one was win the national championship. And it got to a point during this season, that was one of the last ones they could accomplish. Really the only one that they wanted to accomplish, and they pulled off something that a month ago I did not see happen.
Unreal what Ole Miss has done in the last month. Time now to introduce you to the Capital One Tournament Most Outstanding Player, Dylan Delucia, a guy who went from bullpen to ace, and the job that he did here at the College World Series, incredible.
Yeah, his 2 starts here in Omaha were phenomenal. 16 2/3 innings, didn't walk anybody. For a guy that wasn't in the starting rotation at the beginning of the year, when he got into it, and the freshman Hunter Elliot got into it, that is when things started to spin for this Ole Miss team. Only fitting that Dylan Delucia gets another piece of hard work.
Yeah, he pitched them to the finals, right? But it was Hunter Elliot, Jack Doherty that were able to get it done, and what a team performance. Incredible story.
Post-game ceremony and NCAA trophy presentation is over on the ESPN app. Coming up next, baseball tonight's Sunday night countdown. For Chris Burke, Kyle Peterson, Chris Budge, producer Scott Gustafson, director Scott Johnson, and our entire crew behind the scenes, Mike Monaco saying thanks for watching and so long from Omaha, Nebraska.